G'day, I'm Neil and my handle is Wiley11. I'm just going to put my disclaimer here. Whatever I do and say on these videos is well-intentioned and well-meaning advice. I accept no liabilities whatsoever for any disclosures. If you take some advice or act on something that I'm saying on these videos, you do so entirely at your own risk. I'm doing it based on my experience. These videos are my attempt to give back to YouTube for the help and assistance that YouTube has given me. So once again, you follow along or follow advice from these videos entirely at your own risk. Okay, and if you're not happy to do that, click this off and off you go. Because this is purely my attempt to give back to YouTube, as I said, for the help and advice that I have received out of YouTube. So this is just my little attempt to give back. If you're all happy to follow along at your own risk, buckle up, sit in. Let's get into it.
Good morning, welcome back. I don't know really where to begin this. It's been a while since I've recorded. We've had some family things happening. Essentially, my mum's in palliative care, and it's knocked me for a loop. So I don't know how much longer I've got with mum, but we love her, and cancer, it's a horrible thing, and she doesn't deserve the pain she's in or any of that. So it's a really, really bad situation in terms of that. The purpose of this video is to wrap Zoomie's exhaust up. It's been repaired. It was an interesting little tale. I love Zoomie, and I can tell you that it's kind of a dud way to finish this video, but with everything else that's been going on, I didn't really do too much in the way of recording videos. It's not the important thing at the moment in my life. But we started the process, and it needs to get finished, so let's finish it. Essentially what happened, we determined that somebody ran into the side of Zoomie and broke the exhaust off. We got quite lucky that it tore the exhaust. It didn't tear. It did bend the studs going into the head of the motor. But it did not in any way crack the motor at all. So in that regard, we got lucky, because given the forces and stresses, we thought we might have had a crack, but we didn't. So we got lucky there. That said, I was able to remove the exhaust, and I did that in part one. It came apart in a number of parts. The flange had broken. The two studs were actually, they came out well. I didn't need the stud remover. I was able to get it with vice grips in the end. So I was extremely fortunate that a set of vice grips, and what I did was I screwed a nut onto one end and then put a lock nut onto it, and was able to spin it out with a spanner. So initially it was vice grips, but it was too awkward in the place, and I spun it out by putting a nut on, and then a lock nut, and then spinning it out with a spanner. I got extremely lucky. So that said, I took my broken bits of exhaust to a muffler shop and said, look, here's my exhaust. What I'd like to do is make a stainless steel exhaust for this. And I went to 6 different shops and got laughed at, F off. We don't want to know about you. And the reason is that these shops typically have equipment for working for cars, but they don't have anything to deal with pipe that small, for motorbikes. So after going to 6 different shops and being told literally to F off, I went to a 7th, and I went to a guy called Mufflers to the Max at Cam Holt's Court, and I'm going to post a little photo snip in here, and we're going to show you some details about this guy, because I didn't start out by talking about the exhaust. What I noticed with the guy was that he had a Harley parked out the front, and rather than talk about my bike, I talked about his bike. And I walked in and I said, "Oh, is that yours?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, she's a little darling, isn't she?" And he was talking about his bike, and I could see he was passionate about his bike. And I just said, "Well, you know how you feel about your bike. Well, you have some understanding of the way I feel about mine, and mine's nothing like yours. I've got a little 50cc Zoomie, And he's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I love him. It costs me $3 a week to run him, and he gets me everywhere. I just love this little bike. He's great." So we were comparing notes about riding the 2 bikes, him and his big massive thing. And I said, "Well, what I really love about it is I can just sort of zoom around the traffic. I don't have to worry about negotiating the tight turns in between the traffic, because he just goes." And he said, "Yeah, I could see how that'd be an advantage." He said, you don't worry about the speed and that. I said, "Well, you rarely get to do those sorts of speed unless and I don't go on the highways. You're usually trying to get from point A to point B through really narrow streets and 60 limits anyway. So, you get on the 80s occasionally, and it's a pain because he barely does 80. And you get people crawling all over you. Yeah, you get that, but, you get used to it." And he said, "Yeah, I could see that." He said, "Well, why did you come in?" I said, "So I reached around behind my back and I pulled out his broken exhaust." I said, "Well, I got this mess. Some blokes hit me bike when it was parked up at Bunnings. And I got this broken mess. And what I want to do is I want to convert it to stainless steel. And, I want to do something nice for the bike because I really love the bike." And he was like, "Well, I can see that. Yeah." He said, "There's a real problem though, because, there's just nothing that small." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I don't want it that small. I actually want to make a stainless steel pipe that follows this pipe and then converts down at the flange. Like, you just knock it down so that it's just into a big stainless steel chamber." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah." And he got on board. And I was like, "You beauty, I've got someone who's going to help me." Now, this guy, he said, "Look, it's not going to be up to me. It's going to be up to my bloke. But I think we can do something here." And he went and got his bloke, and we came out and we looked at it. He said, he looked at the exhaust. He said, "Well, I can't do anything without the bike." I said, "Yeah, I know that." He says, "Well, how can you get the bike?" I said, "I'll ride it here." He said, "What, without the exhaust?" I said, "Yeah, without the exhaust. I'll just..." He says, "You go real easy." I said, "Yeah, we'll get it here, So we got them the bike. I rode it up there without the exhaust on it. And, we got him back about 2 weeks later. And I just said, "Look, I'm not in any hurry for this. You take your time, do whatever you need to do. And, just think of this as your bike and what you'd like to see." And the guys were on board. They literally were on board. From that point, I knew I was going to get a good job. So I'm going to put a link to Mufflers to the Max's website in this video, if I can ever work out how to do that, an in-video link to them. And they're in Cam Holt's Court on the Gold Coast at Southport, up at Ashmore there. And if you've got an exhaust that you want to treat it a bit special, then you go see these guys because they're passionate about doing their exhausts. I've got Zoomie back. I'm going to take this down before I button him up. I'll take his on the camera here. I've got my camera ready to rock. I've got to charge it up. It hasn't been used. We're going to go over what they did, and we're just going to wrap this video, and then I'm going to button Zoomie up, and we're going to go riding tonight. We're going to a dance, so we're going to ride Zoomie to the dance. Now, in terms of everything else, Mum's in palliative care at home. We got her out of the hospital in Bundaberg. When I say we, I mean my sister, who's done an amazing job of looking after Mum, has got her at the farm. She's home, which is, she's a lot happier, but she can't eat anything. Every time she eats something, she throws it up. So we don't know how long we've got her for, but if we can't get her fed, then, you know, she's going to go. So that's where we're at with Mum, and it's really sad, and it's going to take a little bit of getting over. Zoomie is really happy. Me personally, if you're following along with me, my weight has actually dropped quite considerably. I'm at 101 kilograms, so I've dropped about 4 kilograms. Just, you know, it's just easy, you know. I've still got the job. It's a temporary job, but it's been extended a bit because it took them a bit longer than they thought it would take, which is good for me. So I've got a little bit more work, but it's going to finish soon, and I'm going to be back where I was looking for a job. So if anyone wants a graduate electrical engineer, you're looking at one, I need a job. And, I had a bit of surgery done. I don't know if you guys can see this. I can't even see it. I've never actually looked at it. But just here, I had a lump cut out of my neck. That was fun. So that was just done day surgery. I was in and out and back at work the next day, so that was all right. It's going really well. But I feel better without that. It's itchy to hell. It's actually healing quite well. It's gone all itchy. I can't touch it because I've got surgical field dressing over the top of it to keep it dry, and it's helping it a lot. So it's quite nice that it's coming along. I actually self-published one book that's personal. So there is a book available. I might put a link. I'm going to sell them over the internet, and they're $200 a copy. They're bound by hand. They're personally signed. I'm doing it all. I bought the gear to do it. I don't know if you can see it, but up there is a guillotine. And over here is a printer. Yeah. I'm printing the books out, guillotining, binding them, everything by hand. And $200 a copy. And they're a first edition print. So as I get an order, I make the book, send it off. So hopefully I'll have some kind of website set up soon. It's not something I've paid. Again, it's on a back burner sort of thing. But if you want a book, get in touch and I'll get your book. Good feedback from the people that have bought them. Really good feedback. They love the book. So I've got 100%. Not one person's come back and said it's a crap book. And they're telling their friends, and you know, I'm getting more asks, but it's all on the back burner. It's one of those jobs that it's not a high priority for me. Behind me, you can see the desk is a bit of a mess. There's shit everywhere, and the reason for that is there's three kind of repair jobs on that desk. My backlight died, and, you know, the fold-out backlight died. This one. They're a bloody good light, but when they die, they die. And what's going on is that little bugger there's got a short in it somewhere. And I might do a video on repairing it, I don't know. But I've got the tools everywhere at the moment trying to sort that out. It took almost every tool I had to get that apart. Unbelievable how they go together. There's different things you need to get things apart, but I got it apart. And I found out that thing shorted the batteries. It's actually discharging the battery in one big, and I mean, so whether the battery's shorted or not, I don't know yet, and that's where I'm up to with it. But let's get you downstairs. Let's get you a look at Zoomie. I might bring him up into the sun. It's a really lovely day out there. And because it's such a nice day, I think I'm going to work on Project Violin, because I want to give that to Talia for Christmas. So Project Violin's got to go forward, as has, you know, Project Zoomie got to get buttoned up. I've got some things still to do with Zoomie. I've got all the parts, but again, it's all low priority. My thoughts are with me mum. And you know, that's where it's at. I'm here on the Gold Coast and she's in Bundaberg. But beautifully, we can use devices like this so that I can talk to her and be with her, even though I'm miles away. Well, I haven't got a lot of cash, so I can't travel up there as often as I'd like to, and I haven't got a lot of time, so travelling up there is not really an option for me either. I've got an online video interview this morning, in fact, with a job interview, and then I've got another job interview next week. So, plus I've got the job, the temporary job that I can't really travel at the moment, and I'm a bit crook with this, been a bit crook with that, which is why I've dropped my weight. I haven't been eating really well anyway, but you know, I haven't been eating real well. I've dropped a few kilos, which is the good side of it, but I'll probably put it back on if I don't watch myself. I haven't been allowed to wash my hair, so my hair's gone all stupid. But I can wash it. I'm past the point where the dressing, there's a nice scab on top of that, and the dressing's got it to a point now where I'm allowed to wash me. So today will be the first time in a week that I've washed my hair, and my hair's gone all stupid, and there's this huge dust storm on the Gold Coast, and you know, my hair's full of dust. I need to wash it. Anyway, it's all good. So we're 17 minutes into a quick wrap-up conversation on Project Zoomie. So we're going to post the photo for the guy's business, and then we'll put a link to his business. Definitely go see him. If you need an exhaust job done on the Gold Coast, go see these guys, because they were the only people that didn't tell me to F off. And they're passionate. They got on board real quick with my project. So I was real happy that I found them. And I can recommend them. They charged me $426. And when you see the amount of work they put into this exhaust, I was kind of expecting a higher bill, you know, and I'm quite pleased that they looked after me, and they understood that they heard about mum, you know, and you know that I couldn't believe that they were as upset as I was at the time I told them, and I'm still upset, of course, but I'm sad. I'm upset, and I'm a bit angry about things, but. You know, my mum, she's worked hard her whole life, and she doesn't deserve cancer. No one deserves cancer. It's a horrible disease. You know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, she was running the art, driving herself around. You know, just self-sufficient, and independent as hell and doing her stuff. And she's laid up in a bed at the moment. She can't eat anything, you know, every time she tries to eat something, and she's so weak and she's in a lot of pain, and it's just not fair. It's just not. And when she's ready, she'll pick a moment and she'll toddle off, and we won't have her, and that's going to hurt. Okay, let's go down and look at Zoomie, wrap up Zoomie's exhaust, and let's move forward with wrapping this up. I'll see you in a minute.
Righto, so what we're doing is we're going to really quickly show you Zoomie's exhaust. So down there you can see it's been fitted with a brand new stainless steel ported exhaust system. Still got his front cover off. Just showing you the exhaust. Round to the side. And you can see here that they've done an excellent job of making this. This is his original muffler, and they've given me a bigger tailpipe out. So there it is. There's a custom exhaust. It cost me $429 for them to do it. So that's Zoomie with his new exhaust system on. Right, so it's a fair bit later than what I said it was, but that wraps up Zoomie's exhaust. As I said, it was a bit convoluted. There are other things going on in the life. We expect we're going to lose Mum at any point in time, so that's got priority. But I want to close this video off just to say thank you for staying with me. Make good decisions, do good things, keep swinging. I'll see you later.